Hello friends, this is Som Prakash. I'm an entrepreneur and a business coach, and I help people to start up their own businesses and to become successful in their own business by corporate strategies and helping them with their mindset. So let's talk about what is the mindset of successful entrepreneurs. Over the years, I have observed and I have learned and I have already interacted with a lot of entrepreneurs who are hugely successful and also people who are not that successful. I myself failed in around 12 different businesses before I succeeded in a couple of them. And so whatever I learned, just wanted to share with you guys. Probably hopefully you will also start to understand and practice those success principles which anyone could practice and become successful. First thing first is the dream. Okay, now people who are extremely successful in their businesses, they always have the big dream. Take the example of Elon Musk of SpaceX or Tesla Motors, to even Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos of Amazon. All these people, uh, growing up, if you read their biographies, you will understand that they always they are very different. They used to think differently. They were very innovative. Now I understand and appreciate that not all of us or many of us have that kind of a trait from the very beginning, from our very childhood. However, this dream, also for a lot of entrepreneurs, it is an opportunity. They see an opportunity to jump onto it as well and become successful as well. Now we'll come to that as well, like how anyone can also become a big dreamer, or can leverage opportunities which are abundantly available around us, and how anyone can tap into that and become successful regarding to that. But first thing is these successful entrepreneurs have big dreams, or they see opportunity somewhere, or where they could utilize their talent, their knowledge, and then they become hugely successful. Then the next thing about these successful entrepreneurs are, they have always they're focused. They have unsatiable the desire to accomplish their goals. Okay, they are fanatic about their goals. Okay, when I observe these people, I have interacted with quite a few successful entrepreneurs as well, and I could see the passion in them. Okay, so what keeps them awake, the whole night probably is that dream and that passion that they want to accomplish, that they could see in their mind's eye that they are going to be successful, or that is something they can contribute to the world. Okay, so what is that drives the passion, is what it drives them. Okay, and that passion gets converted into massive action. Okay, now it's very important as well. As another element is massive action. Okay, now people who are successful, anyone if you see, they take massive action. They do not leave any stone unturned in their pursuit to the success of their business ideas, or what they visualize, or what they want to accomplish. So massive action. So what do you mean a massive action? Lot of us, or lot of entrepreneurs, they take actions. Okay, they desire to do something. They want to do something, but massive action is very different, where you get all in. So as opposed to people who a lot of time, I myself, I was sitting on the fence. Okay, now I will do this and also I will do that. I will have a job, and in my spare time I will do something, and probably it may work. Okay, if I'm doing something in my spare time, I should be also dedicated. Okay, 6 o'clock I come back from office, 6 to 10 11, I'm completely dedicated to my business. But however, I was not like that. Okay, so the massive action wasn't there. But when I look at other people in the similar industry in which I was involved in my spare time, I could see a lot of people moving on big time, and they were putting massive action. Okay, I've seen people who used to even drive late in the night back to home, and next day they will go and work in the office. Okay, so that is what it differentiates, because what they had is they had a passion. They could see their dream coming to realization. That's a very important point. Now, in order for anyone to take massive action, a lot of entrepreneurs, or majority of the entrepreneurs, what we see, who are extremely successful, they are risk takers. Okay, so they risk takers. Okay, take the example. I was reading the biography of Elon Musk. Okay, his entire sort of a project, SpaceX was. Supposed to be, or it was all destined to be a disaster. I think the third phase, he didn't have barely any money to fund the fourth launch of his rocket, and he was kind of bankrupt. He put all his own personal money, and then that became a huge success. He was kind of completely bankrupt that time. Okay, now just imagine a company is completely bankrupt, and somebody is putting his own money, his own personal money at stake, to get it, to make something work, and is not sure whether that will work or not, maybe another field. That is risk, isn't it? Take any person's example. Take the example of even Jeff Bezos of Amazon. you know he had a very high flying job, in the city, in the New York City, in the investment banking company, and he could take a high risk of quitting that to start something of his own, like Amazon, as you know the story of it, and without knowing whether it will be successful or not. But he had one conviction, one idea. I like what Jeff Bezos says, that he never wanted to regret in his life that he did not work on his idea. He says that he would not regret that he did not work in his job extra 1 day or extra 1 hour. You definitely regret that he didn't work on his on his idea of forming Amazon, and had he not pursued his dream. So it's very, very essential that these people are risk takers. Okay, that's inherent in them. Okay, so now all these people, if you see, these are kind of a traits, but very, very important is their dreams are big. But another very important thing what I see is they keep their dream alive. Okay, keeping the dream alive. Okay, I read somewhere that it's not how big is your dream, but how long can you dream. That's what matters. Okay, keep the dream alive. Okay, so that they every day, they think about their dream, their destination, where they are going, and what it will become. Okay, keep the dream alive. Okay, now let's talk about it. Okay, now all these things, probably a lot of successful entrepreneurs who are billionaires in this world, or millionaires or multimillionaires in this world, they have a lot of money, and they are famous. Probably all these people had these things inherent, or probably they had it within themselves when they were born. Probably they are born with those, or over a period of time they have developed these qualities. However, people like you and me, average people, we can also develop these traits. Okay, and how do we develop is by, let me get the eraser. Let's talk about these, and how do we do that, how do we develop that? By understanding these people's mindset, what happens in the mind. Okay, now all these traits, okay, could be understood by understanding the mind. Okay, because that is where everything is programmed. Okay, now our mind, there are three levels of our mind. Okay, probably most of us, know that we have something called a conscious mind. Okay, conscious. So conscious mind is whatever I am talking to you, you are listening to me, you are consciously listening, I'm consciously talking to you. Hopefully you are consciously listening to me. However, you are listening to me, or your ears are open to whatever I'm talking, but you may be thinking about something else. Okay, so now the consciousness also differs, where we have another level in the mind, which is called a subconscious mind. Okay, now subconscious mind, which which programs our different actions without we knowing it. Probably if you are getting distracted and you are thinking about something else when I'm talking to you, or I'm talking to you but I'm thinking about another thing, so probably my subconscious mind is playing a role in distracting myself. Okay, that is subconscious mind. Okay, so for example, if I start a venture and I have a fear that I may fail, Okay, that is the subconscious mind is telling me that. Okay, now if I don't want to take any risk, that is kind of it's inherent in the subconscious mind. Okay, now some people they react to situations quite aggressively, and some people take it really calm. So that is something to do with subconscious mind. Okay, now what is subconscious mind? This is a very, very interesting thing. Most of the time subconscious mind is what determines our destination. Okay, determines our personality, our action, and hence our destination. Okay, now how do we develop the subconscious mind? Okay, now subconscious mind, as it says that consciously we are not aware what's happening, but subconsciously it directs our action, directs our thought process. So over a period of time, so the subconscious mind gets formed. Okay, so for example, when baby is born, mind is blank, and as the baby grows and starts to learn to walk, and learns to run, do other stuff. So the baby, from through its five senses, okay, so all the senses, it is consciously, it is so that means listening, that means hearing, seeing, feeling, all those five senses. Through those five senses, the perceptions are formed. Okay, then the personality is formed, and that is what, when it's forming, that is in the subconscious mind. If somebody tells a baby every now and then, hey, do not do this, do not do that, hey, you'll mess this up, don't touch it, don't. So what happens, the baby, when the baby grows up and becomes an adult, always the not thing, do not do this, you may mess up these things, that is predominant thought process. So that means, that is why most of the time when you start something, you feel like we may not be successful. Okay, nothing to blame with us, because these are something given to us by our environment, by our parents, or near and dears, without them knowing probably that there are some negatives going into our brain, which form our personality. Now the core of it is the unconscious mind. Okay, unconscious mind, let's not worry about that much. What is unconscious mind? For example, my heart is beating, I am breathing. Okay, these are unconsciously happening, and there's blood flowing within my body. These are unconsciously happening. I'm not conscious about this. Okay, completely not aware of it. Okay, so now these are something, our body's mechanism are governed by the unconscious mind. Okay, so now how do we, if we want to embed these personalities within us, okay, if you want to be a dreamer, if you want to take massive actions, we want to have that passion in our life, and go for our destination, what do we need to do? Very simple. All these people have in their subconscious mind all those traits. Probably they had something within themselves, through their gene. Okay, sometimes it does help. However, these can easily be embedded as well. What do I mean by embedding? Our brain, we cannot put anything inside the brain with brain surgery, but it easily could be done by programming, brain programming, or mind programming, or there are ways to do that. How is that? Very simple. The way we have put those negative things in, okay, we can also put positive. Okay, so how do we touch? First we have to touch our subconscious mind, and then put positive into it. Okay, how do we touch subconscious mind? So we have something called alpha state of mind. We have to take our mind, the entire thing, mind, into an alpha state, which is this state. Okay, to touching this state. So there are alpha, beta, theta. There are different stages of our mind, or different states of our mind. Alpha stage is when you are a bit drowsy, just before you go to sleep, or before you fall asleep, you feel a bit drowsy. That is the time when our alpha state of mind is active, or after you get up from bed, after a few minutes of that, that's called the alpha state of mind. So in the alpha state of mind, we can inject anything in, and that becomes our that gets into the subconscious mind. So how do we do that? Okay, how do you consciously get into the subconscious or consciously get in subconscious mind or alpha state of mind? Simple, through this meditation. Okay, Now meditation process, you have to learn a bit as well. How do you meditate? We don't want to get into this, but simple, meditation on, focusing on your breathing pattern. You can get into your subconscious mind, and then through auto suggestion, okay, through visualization, through talking, or talking your future into existence, okay. That is what you can, or that is a process as well of how do you give auto suggestion, and how do you visualize, okay, because our mind perceives through, those five senses, okay. Now all those, we can bring all those positive things what you want, in our brain. We can embed those through those by perceiving those five senses. That means we can see something physically, or in our mind's eye we can see. That's called imagination, okay. So with this process of imagination and visualization, we can visualize our success, the dream what they already have, okay. We can visualize our dream, okay. We can visualize the passion, we can visualize our destination, and hence when we have that passion comes in, then we will take the massive action, okay. So very very important is we have to know the mechanism of our mind, and put in subconscious mind. But this, it is not a one day exercise. Every day we have to discipline ourselves to do it, again and again on everyday basis, so that our mind is trained. And this is definitely possible by anyone, just by disciplining our mind and observing our mind when getting distracted, going somewhere, bringing it back, and focusing on our goals and destination, where we what you want to accomplish. We can easily get there. So with that, guys, we are done. Hopefully it helped you, but the process is very interesting, please message me or reach out to me if you want to know more about the process and how you can program your mind. All right, with that, we are done. Over and out.